Hello, friends. Welcome to Coffee Talk. We are all about dance education, and those who are into sharing our passion. This broadcast is brought to you by the International Dance Entrepreneurs Association. You can learn more about that group at ideadance.org. Today's guests are Julie K. Stallcup, coming to us from the great state of Arkansas, and Tessa Zimomra from Alabama, but coming to us from a really nice trip to New York City where she's seeing Broadway shows. I have a feeling this is going to be a lot of laughs and some deep talk as well. Let us know who's watching. Tell us where you're from, your name. Feel free to ask questions during the broadcast. We'd love to hear from you. After the holiday break, we will be back with Coffee Talk on January 10th. Note that's a Monday. We will welcome psychologists Claudette Demures-Gendreau and Deborah Steele. We're going to talk about the facts related to supporting our dancers mentally, more so than what we know what to do in our classroom teaching wise. Really timely broadcast. I hope you'll join us for that. Again, January 10th. We have a great show for you planned. But before I bring in our guests, I'm going to run for you a commercial for the 2022 Dance Life Teacher Conference. And here we are. Welcome to Coffee Talk.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes, we have Fayetteville in the house. Andrea Trench is in the house.
Yes.
This is cool. So welcome you guys to Coffee Talk. Nothing's off limits in our discussions other than bad words. I'm excited to have both of you here. Tessa, you can say anything you want, my friend.
Oh, great.
Okay. For
Free
those,
reign.
yeah, for those of you who may not know, Julie K, I feel like the world knows who you are. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, my friend.
Hi, I'm Julie K. Stallcup. I always feel weird saying that. Country girl at heart. Started in Arkansas, went to Branson, Missouri, went to Vegas, went to LA, had a studio for 15 years, wanted to come back to my amazing roots of Arkansas. Hey, for my Virginia, Fayetteville friend, woo, pigs, sing! And I love teaching dance. I love helping people. I'm grateful for everybody who has helped me get into the position that I am today. Thankful for all of my mentors and people out there. I'm really grateful for where I am right now in my life, and I feel stronger than ever. So I'm happy to be on here with Tessa. A huge, love you, huge
Love
fan.
you back. Love you back. Yeah.
Okay, lots of love happening here, which is what I think life should be all about, my friends. We have Judy Sullivan here. She's from Massachusetts. Erin Ray from Massachusetts. Tessa, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I'm Tessa Zimomra. I am from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where I'm going into started our fourth season, halfway into our fourth season. I opened that studio with my late husband, Greg Russell, who I met years ago on the convention circuit, of course, and we fell in love and had a baby, and he moved to Alabama, and we had pretty much fairy tale romance and story. And as I'm sure most people know, last year he left us, but his presence is still here, and my job now is to carry on that legacy.
Awesome. Okay, I'm just going to do a little personal note on that. You know, he was a big part of the Dance Life family, big part of my events for years, and he will be with us forever, my friend, because he impacted everybody in not just a dance way, in a personal way. He was a unique man. Okay, so we're going to get into some deeper conversation in a minute, but I'm going to ask you this question. Julie K., do you think deep down that this whole pandemic thing could be a blessing in disguise in some ways in your journey?
Yes, and I feel like I first should say, if anyone has lost somebody from COVID, like, God bless you. I pray for you, and I'm sorry, but COVID has been the biggest eye opener ever for me as a person. The self-discovery for who I need to be for my family next is outrageous. Like, my faith has become stronger. Selling the studio was really, really hard for me, leaving my entire life, but realizing that, they sacrificed so much for me. Being a studio owner is, it's gut wrenching when you have your self-discovery and you eat lunch with yourself and you walk by yourself and you're like, oh, I don't know if I like this person. And then you figure out why you don't like yourself and what you need to change. And it's really, really hard, but I'm proud of myself for recognizing that. I'm really proud of who I've become and who I'm becoming, because I have a lot to grow, of course, as well. But it has been the biggest blessing. My kids are thriving in Arkansas. Like, one didn't want to move. I'm not leaving LA. It's terrible. I don't want to go to Arkansas. And now he's like, hey, Mama, I love country music and I want to go hunting. And I'm like what? And then my oldest son is on the wrestling team and he's going to be in his first match soon. And my daughter is taking at another studio where I'm teaching, and she's doing 12 hours a week. And she's thriving that I'm a mom and not the owner. So huge pluses. And my husband, he likes Arkansas, but we'll leave it at that. You know what? He's fine. He's fine.
I have some experience in Arkansas, and I have it has a lot of sentimental value because that's where my grandparents come from. My mother was born. But yes, I understand how a person who grew up in a different area, in a different culture, it could be shocked. But like you said, the peace and tranquility compared to LA, yeah, I understand it.
Yeah. I look at life completely different now. Grateful for the experience and the lessons learned and the journey, as you say. That's something that you very much have taught me, Rhea, is enjoy the journey. And, I'm grateful for that experience, but I am so freaking excited about me turning 43 this year and me like, I cannot wait for next year. I think my growth for who I am, I'm ready. I'm ready. I wasn't ready before. I thought I was ready. I was not ready.
Awesome. Okay, we can talk some more about that in a minute. So Tessa, What were
Yes,
the
sir.
blessings that came out of COVID?
Oh, all the love and the support on my end, at least. Something that was incredibly tragic and horrible became some of the most beautiful relationships I have right now. And without those, I don't know where I would be. It definitely takes a village. And so I'm just very grateful for how we are able to be connected, whether it's through the internet or a friend bringing dinner, one night because they know I work late teaching or something. So definitely those relationships are what I value so much, and I want to foster them and not let my profession get in the way of maintaining those relationships, because that was my biggest change. I think is learning
Go
where those
deeper
boundaries
with
are.
that. Okay, talk to me about boundaries real fast.
Oh yeah, well, I will say when Greg and I opened our studio, we set boundaries that were, we decided we're not going to be at the studio every day. We don't want our competitive students to have to live at the studio, if you will. And he was very adamant that my phone is not being answered after 10 p.m. from parents. He was like, that's my time. And so we had already planted those seeds. And of course, my studio family was a rock during everything that happened. But I now understand more why it is okay for that kid to miss rehearsal because it's Granny's 87th birthday. Like, absolutely. Go to Granny's 87th birthday. Where before I would have been like, sorry, I mean, it's rehearsal. We need 100% attendance or we can't get anything done. And
So
that's not accurate.
I have to agree with you. Prior to the pandemic, I would have said, don't you think you could make part of the rehearsal, or can we push it or move it? But you're right. I think since the pandemic, I'd say, wow, you got an 87-year-old grandmother, go for it.
Right.
Now, that's huge change.
Yeah.
Okay, in our world. But I
Right.
do think that we're coming around again to understanding what's going on in the lives of our kids, because we had to better learn how to deal with what's going on in our own lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And ultimately, Tessa, not to interrupt you, but like now, if somebody has a 92nd birthday or whatever, it's our job to make sure that those kids have those experiences so there's no burnout. Like that's a real thing, is burnout. Like it's real, like big time. But you know what? And you can Zoom it, you can record it for that kid, and then hold them accountable for missing them. And they have to learn that choreography like that. There is nothing wrong with that. And we can't go back to way our teacher used to do this. This is not that world anymore. So when people say, "Oh, my teacher wouldn't have done that," well, honey, we're in 2020, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we can do things differently now, because if we start holding them and like doing that, we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose big time.
We are. Well, again, like you've said, the whole world has changed. Even if you're a 9-to-5 office worker, they have realized you don't need to be there 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and so that is just something I think can also be applied to our industry. If they do have to miss rehearsal for whatever reason. Now, I'm not saying that someone is like, I need to go shopping because I have a big event on Saturday. Can I miss rehearsal? Like, I'm not going to excuse that. But if they have something where they can't be there, like you said, Julie, they need to be accountable and come back and realize what they missed, make sure they don't look like they've missed. And if they can do that, that's a life lesson well beyond dance, because you're not going to have 100% attendance in anything that you do. So you need to be able to know how to come back in, figure it out, and go.
It really fast, because I'm horrible. I always talk, but it's one of those things where, like, if there's like 10 people, like say in your small group, I think that we should make accountability buddies, right? So Tessa, you and I are in the routine, and I have to miss. Your job is to hold me accountable and maybe check in with me and let's call a private time together to learn it. And then vice versa. There's nothing wrong with holding it. Like, teach them what an accountability buddy is. And if Rhee had to miss and I'm his buddy, I've got to call Rhee and say, hey, Rhee, or Rhee needs to call me. And then we collaborate together and we've caught up. So it's not so much pressure and anxiety.
Well, and all my kids have group text, and they know, like, they leave a rehearsal and they type all the corrections into the group text. So before they come back next rehearsal, they read through those. I am not repeating myself, or they aren't getting the best version of me.
Right.
So, they come in and do that, and that is, again, how we're going to raise adults, the next generation of whatever they want to be.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Accountability.
Yes. For sure.
Lots of comments and feedback on supporting that concept. Big change, but it's a needed dynamic. Dance is not life or death.
It's just dance. I don't know how many people need to understand. It is our life, and that is great that we are making this and putting it back into the world and creating the next generation of people that will do the same thing. But it is just dance. And
I'd rather my kids say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, thank you so very much. Absolutely, I can share. Absolutely, I can help this person. Yeah. I mean, that's what's missing in the world. And last night we had a little Holly Jolly week with our parents. And I was like, you know what? Thank you for raising respectful children. And when they're not respectful, I will call them out.
Yeah. Yep. Amen. Amen. And yeah, I think segueing to, well, I actually just, my thought left my brain. So sorry. I'll have to come back to that. But it was something you had just said, Julie.
What's good about that, to make you feel better, that happens to me a lot. I'm just good at covering it up.
I mean, again, accountability. I'm just going to say, totally forgot.
Well, that's okay. I mean, Rhee and I, what are we talking about?
But wait, I want to now, let's take us to the two things that changed your lives. Julie K., describe, let's say, the time period of making the decision that you were going to sell, close, move on to Arkansas. What was that period, week, 2 weeks, month, whatever it was like?
I was driving to Vegas to do an event. And when you drive from Vegas to from Los Angeles to Vegas, there's this weird exit called ZZX. And it's like ZZYY, and everybody knows it because there's nothing there, which is so funny that there's an exit to absolutely nothing.
Nowhere.
Right? You know, everybody's like, I know what exit you're talking about.
Oh, I totally made Greg do it. I was like, get off. We got to see what this is.
And nothing's there. Okay. And so I hit that and I was like, that's just the dumbest exit. I was like laughing at myself, and I look over, my husband's asleep with his mouth open, snoring. And I look in the back and everybody's sleeping. And I was like, they're all supporting my dream. I'm selfish. They're all doing this for me. I'm dragging my family everywhere I go, and my family is having to sit in the back seat. If I feel this same way, this horrible, like vomit sensation, literally like I wanted to throw up. If I feel the same way at this exit returning from this event, I'm going to sell the studio. It's the truth. I waited for that exit. I was so ready for that exit to hurry up. And here's what the weirdest thing was. Driving, I looked, Daryl's got his mouth open, snoring. My kids were asleep in the back again. I'm like, I must wear these kids out, right? My husband, bless his heart, like a saint, like my knight in shining armor, for God's sake. And we're trying to live in Camelot, but we're in this car driving, right? And I realized I'm done and I'm okay. I will still have an identity. I will still be okay, but it's not about me. How selfish am I? In realizing that, I fell apart. I cried. I laid in bed. I don't do that, but I'm realizing the ugliness that was inside of me making my kids go, okay, we're going to make a trip out of this. We're going to make a trip out of this. Y'all just wait in the room for me when I'm done. Yada, yada, yada. Oh, I got to go over here. I got to take this phone call. I got to do this. When all they wanted to do was spend time with their mom. And all Daryl wanted to do was to hold his wife. And when I got home and I made that, like, I told my first, like one of my best friends, and she was like, you can't move away. And I went, I have to go back, because my dad died of a brain aneurysm when I was a senior in high school. My mother died of breast cancer, lung cancer, dementia. There was all kinds of stuff. Not breast cancer, because that was when she was younger. Lung cancer and dementia. We didn't know what she died of. And I have my older brothers. They're 18 years older than me. They need a mother. Even though I'm 18 years younger, they need my children. My children need their uncles. I need morals. I need a better lifestyle. I need peace, and I need to discover what it's like to be a full-time mom and a full-time wife again. And I got away from that because the studio was my full-time family and my real family was my part-time family. It's hard saying that out loud, but I am as honest as can be. So my heart belongs to my family now, and they understand that. They're excited. They're like, Mom, can you take me to Shakey's? Hey, Mom, can you go get me headgear for wrestling? I'm like, let's go. Put the dogs in the car. Let's go. Roll down the windows. Turn on a country song. I'm riding. Hair's blowing. Oh, I feel cute. Let's go. Yeah, I'm Mom of the Year. Go to Chick-fil-A. Do this. Yeah, I'm like, I'm in it. I'm in it. Sorry, that was exciting.
No, that was a really good way to express it all. I'm happy for you, my friend.
Well, I'm grateful for everything that you've given me, and you know that. Like, I'm telling you, and really fast, sorry, I always say this. Oh my God, with one more thing. I was with Greg, and I was teaching for Encore, the expo, and I was with Greg 2 weeks before he passed. It's still one of my favorite things. And we were with Ryan Vattel, and we all rode to the airport together, laughing our butts off, literally laughing our butts off. And we got there and we were watching, and like Dak Prescott or one of the Cowboys, we were watching the Cowboy game at this restaurant, having dinner, and or lunch, whatever it was. And he broke his foot, and we were sitting there talking. We gave each other a hug, and literally Greg looked at me and said, I would love to work with you in the future. I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, I have chills thinking about it, because what a solid human, like heart of gold. And when he taught, like, I learned so much from people like that. And that's something that we need to step back in 2022 and go, I need to learn from these people. I need to gain their experiences and their journey and appreciate it. So Tessa, I want you to know that last conversation and that last hug, I will never forget it as long as I live. Like, I'm telling you, I was like, dude, I love you, Greg. Like, we were talking about,
like, you.
My favorite thing was, I was like, people get mad at me when I post something on Dance Teacher Network about a shuffle step. And he's like, a shuffle step is a shuffle step. And we got up and like did it. And it was the funniest thing. I'm like, a shuffle is a shuffle. He's like, I say that all the time. His energy and his love, it was my favorite time. Like,
yeah.
And then I called Ryan that morning and said, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. And he goes, no way. No way. And it was like one of those things where I held on, like I just stopped. I prayed for that moment, and I went, I'm so grateful that I had that time with him and that we did a shuffle step. We did a freaking shuffle step. I did a shuffle step with Greg.
Yeah, you worked with him. Go girl. Did it.
Anyway,
he loved you too. And we very much enjoyed together watching you become now who you are, and seeing how everyone supported you and what you were putting out into the world. It was so great. And we were always have been big fans.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Awesomeness. Okay, this is Coffee Talk up close and personal, with a little bit of tears and a little bit of laughter.
Coffee cry talk.
Right.
Coffee. I can't say coffee today. Coffee emotional roller coaster talk.
Yes.
Okay, Tessa.
Yes,
In the best way you know how, tell us about your change and how it happened.
Okay, okie dokie. I mean, just to, I guess, so people can know or whatnot, Greg quickly passed away from COVID. It was a sudden at-home event. So he had felt bad that day. We went and got COVID tested. We got home. at 4 p.m. and his death certificate reads 8:22. So that's how quick everything happened. So it was such, absolute shock, trauma. It really wasn't even until a few months ago that I was able to realize that I lived through the trauma, because you just get up the next day I was talking to Rhee Gold and Debbie D and Nancy Stone. Like, you don't not answer the phone for those people no matter what's happening, So, there's just a lot to do. And we had our business and our kids. So it's just get up and go. And I was very busy for the first 6 months. There was a lot to take care of. I will say it was probably the legacy show in LA when I was able to have my first bit of closure and really accept what had happened. Your speech, Rhee, sticks with me. I repeat lines of it to myself every day. How lucky were we to get to know someone like Greg Russell? And of course, I have my days where I don't want to get out of bed. Some days I'd go take Lucy to school and get back in bed,
That's okay,
Yes.
Yeah. And
you allow yourself
Yeah.
to be what it is you need to be.
Yes. And so I have, but like I said earlier, I'm surrounded by this incredible village, near and far, relationships that would have probably always existed, as in I was Greg's wife. Like, I would have known y'all, in the peripheral, and my sister Angie Carter, and Ryan Lohoff, all these people that were huge people to Greg, but I was just Greg's wife, and now they are our family. I consider you my family. Like, all of these people that have just given such support, it makes you realize no matter what's going on, we can face hard things. We can do this, but a lot of it is, as Julie was saying earlier, it's faith. You just have to put and whatever your faith is, I'm not advocating for anything singularly, but
I know you're not. I know you're an equal opportunity person. So don't talk politics with Tessa. That's all I want to say.
But I am not advocating anything singularly, but my faith has grown so much this year, because you just have to trust that it is going to work out. And I have yet to wake up one day where the sun still didn't come up. Now, 2020 threw us for a loop, so I'm never saying never on that one. But every day the sun has still come up. And so I would also say, like, the studio, for me, what I had to do was delegate. When we opened the studio, it was myself, Greg, and my colleague, Kristen. We taught everything. We did everything. And I immediately realized that wasn't, I wasn't going to be able to do that. So it was hard, but also one of the easiest things I've ever done, if that makes sense, where I just delegated to people. And once again, I just had to trust the process, have faith in the universe. And I cannot speak highly enough about my faculty. The improvement is seen throughout the building, through the students, the parent relationships. I'm happier because I'm not, at the studio all the time. I have time to hang out with my kid. We have dinners on some nights a week, and it's being able to delegate is huge. And I think that's another thing we can have issues with as leaders in this industry. We feel like we have to do everything. We have to control it all. We're artists, and it is important that we trust the people we hired and let them also shine. And when you give them an opportunity to, it really can be amazing what comes back at you. So
I want to say your last point is really an important one. actually delegating and relying on and supporting those around you who are supporting you. That's a good thing to think about as we enter the holidays. I feel like this last year and a half has shown us who's there for us.
Mhm.
And that maybe prior to that, you just kind of took it for granted that they were. And now you say, wow, that's a blessing.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I mean, all we really need in life is love and support. I mean,
Mhm.
I truly, I mean, and of course, faith, but I mean, like, I think that that's something I love, Rhee, that you pulled both of us on, because if it wasn't for you, that when you were honoring her at the Dance Life Teacher Conference, I walked up to her and I said, I would love to help your faculty because it's something that I could do to help. And getting to know her faculty, they were amazing. Like, to see from the other side of how responsive they were to my teaching and my helping. I wanted to help them so bad. Like, it's nice to know, and it was totally channeled to help you. And they were so supportive. It was so beautiful to see a faculty supporting their owner.
Well, I think it it's a circle. It goes both ways, and it's hard. And I understand all the perspectives. You know, a lot of people have issues delegating because, well, what if this person opens up a studio in my town, or what if they, take my intellectual material? Or yeah, I get all that. I get it, but again, it goes back to the faith thing, and it goes back to how you treat people. If you create an environment that no one wants to leave, they won't. And if I train a teacher that decides she has enough confidence to go out into this world and open up her own dance studio, get it, girl, get it, boy, go open up your studio. I'm proud.
They have
of you.
no idea
Thank
how
you.
hard it is.
That.
but you know what? Here's the thing too. Like, it happened to me. Somebody else opened the studio, and it got me to my core. And not until a couple of years ago did I realize that I needed to apologize for my action. And I've messaged all of the teachers that I've ever had like a tiff with, or something didn't end up correctly. I messaged them and I said, please let me know how I could have handled it better. I don't want to live with that. I don't.
Yeah.
And if people don't know that
How do you get the guts to do that, Judy K? Judy K.
Yeah.
Judy K.
A lot of people call me Mary Kay.
Judy, let's continue on. How do you learn to have the, I'll call it, guts to do what you just described?
Because I don't own people.
Boom.
I don't own people. I don't own students. And after leaving, let me tell you, this is hard. And this is live, so people can see it everywhere. So this is fine. When I left, I had maybe 3 faculty members reach out to me in 1 year to see how I was doing. Maybe 5 or 6.
I bet one of them was Zach Saunders.
Well, yeah, because I would have punched him in the face if he didn't. But no, you know what I mean? Like, it's what's hard is that you invest your whole life. Like, you're all in it because we're passionate, driven people, right? Ultimately, here's what it boils down to. They need to take care of themselves. We need to take care of ourselves, right? A nice blend is great. I don't own them. I don't own my students. You plant the seed, you leave. You watch them grow. You're happy for them. So what happened is like 4 or 5 teachers went behind my back and started this whole Black Lives Matter thing. I didn't post something. And so I got so upset because I'm like, all they had to do instead of writing all of the other faculty members is call me and say, hey, Julie K, well, let's make a Black Lives Matter post together. Let's do this together. Collaboration is key right now. If I do something wrong, help me, understand me, educate me. Like, I don't know, right? And so after all this happened, I realized that I'm like, okay, my communication I must not be approachable. I must be intimidating. I'm not approachable. And so I messaged, all of the people that this happened to. A couple people went back to me and said, thank you for doing this, reaching out to me. It means the world to me. I feel better now laying my head on that pillow knowing that I at least tried when they didn't try, right? But here's what's interesting. The person who started the whole letter messaged me, "You're going to die. You're going to fall out of the chair. Everybody's going to go offline." Ready? Here we go. Drum roll. I got a message saying, "Hey, I heard you moved to Arkansas. How's your family? Can you give me a reference to my next job? I'm quitting another day." And I went, are you kidding me? For the love of everybody that was at the Last Supper, nobody ended up at the Last Supper. Are you kidding me? You want me to give you a reference? And you know what I said? Absolutely.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
She was
you did.
a great employee. She was a great employee, but
Okay, that's on live TV. Next week, we're coming back with a show called Name That Person. Who was it?
no, but you know, I just couldn't believe she asked me for a reference after she literally went behind my back. And I hope your family is well. I'm quitting another dance studio. You know what, though? The person never did call me, but I ultimately know that I would have said she was an amazing employee. She really was. Showed up on time, but there is a moment where you need to watch. You know what I mean? Like, those instincts are correct. I just thought it was interesting.
I do too. I'm laughing because I've seen that in my own business.
I bet you have.
But I think maybe I held on a little bit in that I should let it go like you have, Julie K.
Here's
Very
the thing.
freeing.
Yes.
And my soul is settled.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. I don't want to live with, in my life coaching certification, they said something that is so true. If you think about it more than 5 times a month, whatever it is, then you've obsessed with it and it's an addiction. That you have to remove. You have to remove that. And you know what? Every time I think about it, I write it down in my journal. I'm like, okay, so-and-so, text them right now. And you know, I still have not received a text back from this one person that I'm dying to know, but at least I did something. I tried.
Exactly.
I agree.
You know your
I
truth.
agree.
You know your truth, and you have to go with it. You've done everything you can.
But you know what? It's great. I paid them to do their job. They did their job. I should be grateful that they showed up when they showed up. And when there's an end, there's an end. There is an end to everything.
There is an end to everything. The thing that we must understand in this life is it is change. And
Sure
the
is.
majority of time that it changes is not our doing or our pushing in that way. Life throws the changes at us. But I am a firm believer that all that change, as much as it hurts, the knowledge we gain and the empathy and the understanding of what's important in life through each one of those things, because they come. I'm a little older than both of you. It will happen a few more times.
Yeah.
But if you look at it and say, wow, I wouldn't be who I was doing what I'm doing had this thing that I thought at the time was horrific had not happened. So in a way, you could be grateful in some way, if you could go that far, for the hurt, the people.
1,000%. Yeah.
Because you sit there and hold on to it, right? It's an addiction. It truly is, because you're analyzing and making up a story in your brain that's probably not in theirs. So yeah, it is. It's like 50 first dates. You wake up and relive it every freaking day.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I don't want to relive that. I want my soul to settle. And I honestly don't want that anxiety in my life anymore, because you know what?
Oh.
It's not worth going to your grave with that.
Amen.
It is not worth that.
Amen.
Ooh,
Amen.
This is good talk. Amen. Hallelujah.
It's not worth getting up the next day. and feeling that burden.
No.
That's a day you could be happy. I mean, you could do anything with that day other than obsess about those things. But I agree that going through the hurt is what gets you to the place to understand you don't need to obsess over that, because life is going to throw you enough curveballs anyways. No sense in creating your own.
Yep.
So, you know, and my last decade has been curveball after curveball after curveball. So I'm really just hoping for a very chill next decade. But yeah. But I mean, I've had enough events in one decade that could span 3. So I'm just gonna, you know, again, put faith into that universe and take those lessons, take this pain and everything that we've been through and mold it into something positive. Because it's like I tell my dancers when they're nervous before they go on stage, you know, you should be nervous. You're human. If you're not nervous, you need to check your heartbeat. Like, what's going on, you know? So, but then it's your choice how you use that energy, because it's energy within you. So it can bring you down or it can make you fly. What do you want to do? And it's the same with our pain. It's energy, and then we have to decide how we're going to move forward with it. And making everyone else miserable isn't ever
and you're not showing by example. So, I'm not doing a good job of doing that, you know.
Right. So
it's good point.
Really fast. Okay, so listen to this. We either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's a quote that I put up, and it's true. It's like, it sometimes makes you feel, if it's making you sick at your stomach, that's not good for you.
Exactly.
I don't want to feel miserable.
We just told we were better than a Hallmark movie.
I wanted to share that. Did you see that? We got a higher rating than a Hallmark movie this morning. That's the best coffee talk compliment. Let Hallmark know that we're here. If they need something like Oprah. Dance Teachers Coffee Talk, I think that's a great idea. More inspiring than you know. I'm so glad I chose this over a Hallmark movie.
Me too. Thanks for that.
I've never seen one, but now I'm going to go look at one.
Yeah, you've never seen a Hallmark movie?
Well, no, Lord. I mean, the only TV show I watch is Family Feud.
Okay.
Classic.
I have to tell you, I'm a Jeopardy fan every day.
I can't answer one question.
I say if I get one in round 1 and one in round 2, I'm a genius. Want to know what's the hardest? It's dance. And you don't know the answer. You know, it's like, oh my God, how did I do that?
People pay me for this.
I mean, I answered one question, I think, my whole life on Jeopardy, and it was about Marilyn Monroe, and I screamed at the TV, and I was like, I am brilliant.
That's how I feel if I can ever figure out Wheel of Fortune.
I was like Ethel Merman. There's no business.
You know what? We'll talk about anything here on Coffee Talk. As we wind this up, give some words of wisdom to our viewers. I'd like to focus on this. You both have been through dramatic change. The whole world has been through different extremes of dramatic change over the last year and a half. How are you heading into 2022? How would you advise us, those of us who are feeling like, the change is too much for me? Julie K., start us off.
You know, I mean, I accept change now. I don't push it away. I accept it. And I mean, I think something that, you know, I really this next year, I just bought a gratitude journal, and I'm going to dinner tonight with all my best friends, and I bought them a gratitude journal as well. And I really want to put every day that's something that I'm grateful for. And I want to start a book, because I want my kids one day to find that book and to see what I'm grateful for, to see what my struggle was for the day. I found a journal not too long ago from my mom, and I sat there and read it, and you can tell the dementia was slowly starting. And she was like, today is my granddaughter's birthday, and I hope that she knows how much I love her. And you know, reading my and looking at my mother's handwriting was like,
Mm.
it warms my heart because it's what I have left of my mom. And so I think that moving into this new year, I want to leave a legacy for my kids and my family. So I need to write these things down, and hopefully one day they'll find that book and like go, wow, my mom did struggle. My mom had some of these, because you know we're that strong woman. We're like Wonder Woman every single day. We wake up, we take our kids, we do the laundry, we clean up poop, we flush, you know, clean toilets, we fix this, we do this, right? And ultimately, like, I want to leave a legacy of writing like my mom did. And I read that journal sometimes, so grateful that my mom took the time to take care of herself, that self-care of writing that down. So write things down. All the viewers out there, like, take time for yourself, write it down for your family, make a video to your family that one day that they'll hopefully find of like your struggles of what your year was like. And I thought about that at Christmas this year. Christmas is my husband's birthday. I want to do a video of what our year was. And so that the end of the year for every Christmas, the kids can, you know, open up their presents.
Love it.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like
awesome.
for me, it's a video, it's a memory, it's something to hold on to, because if we don't confess and we don't talk about what we've learned from the year, we're not going to grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Good way to put it, my friend.
For sure.
Before I go to you, I put up this comment from Michelle because I wanted to react to it.
Mm.
Okay. I want to say this, and I'm sure, Tessa, you may not be there yet, but I want to say this. When I lost my mother, I was depressed for a long time, couple of years at least. But I changed my attitude thanks to a seminar that I took, a really earthy, crunchy seminar. It was called Happiness is a Choice. And I realized how cool it was to have had my mother for the 33 years that I had her, instead of, oh, I wish I had her again this Christmas. Now, I know that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But boy, if we could handle that loss with more of that attitude, because we could have not had the people in our lives.
Right.
Right.
But how
Right.
lucky were we to have them? Got any thoughts on that?
Oh, I 100% agree with that. And again, I'm grateful for a village with people like you in it that say those words at a time when, even if, you know, right after everything happened, I do think this year the holidays are going to be harder than last year, because it was just, you know, again, it was happening. He died the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So it was all right then. And so, and for my daughter too, like, we're both processing that this is 1 year later. But what we did get, and Greg and I had, in all reality, a very short romance. Like, we were married for a little under 5 years. We were together for 7. So it wasn't this, you know, decades and decades long thing. But for me, it felt like the most glorious 50 years. You know, I don't know,
There you go.
you know, that life or that story without him being a character in it, you know. And Greg wasn't just the amazing teacher that he is. I mean, he was rock star husband, rock star daddy. He did everything. He did the laundry. He cooked dinner. He you know, I didn't have to do anything. Like, it was insane. And so now, as you say, Julie, like, you do feel like a superhero when you're taking out the truck. We do everything, you know. But I think it is so important to acknowledge change is coming, no matter what, no matter whether it's us aging or our kids aging. Death is part of life. So change happens, and being able to flow with it is how you're going to not lose it. I think you've got to just ride that river and trust. Let yourself be open to help, to guidance, understand that you can't do it all, and definitely take some time for yourself, whether it is journaling. I walk every day. I like to have sunshine on my face and hear the birds tweeting, and I got like multiple creeks
Tweeting, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's what I do. I have a 2.5 mile walk that I do every day, and there is literally no dance involved in it. I think about everything else that is going on and what I want, or sometimes I think about nothing, and I just enjoy my surroundings. And I definitely think in our industry, because we take on so much, sometimes we don't give ourselves that hour, because to us, I gave 4 hours today to my business, so that was my hour. That is not your hour. That's your job. Like, now take some time for you, because it's important that we love ourselves, that we are making choices to make us happy. It's okay to binge watch a television show on a Sunday. Like, again, the world's still gonna turn.
It took me till the pandemic to learn that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm really good at it now, my friend. But
I bet you are. And I can give all the recommendations.
It would have thought it was a waste of time before the pandemic. Like, I should be working.
Right.
You get that. It's
Yep.
That's why at the start of, go ahead, Julie K. Who said that?
I was saying, look at it as it is. Work. You're getting inspired. You're watching art. Go inspire your art.
And take your mind off of things.
Yes.
You can learn. Okay, this was an awesome talk. We way longer than our normal coffee talk, but I had a feeling that was going to happen. Thank you, Julie K. Thank you, Tessa. And to all our viewers, accept that this change thing can be hard, but often if you look deeper, you see all these cool things that are coming your way that you could have gratitude for, rather than missing the way it was. Nothing stays the same. We live in a world that is evolving and changing every week. And we need to just go with the flow. And both Julie K. and Tessa, you are examples of people who have done that. And be like Julie K., be like Tessa, go with the flow and look forward to all the cool things that could come your way. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you January 10th for a coffee talk. That is a Monday, 11 o'clock. Claudette Demures, John Drow, who's a psychologist, who's going to hang out with us. A first of the year therapy session for dance teachers. How cool is that? Have a great day, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry everything.
Merry everything. I'm with you.